Fratello the Rugby Podcast. The Italian Rugby Podcast. Fratello the Rugby Podcast. The Italian Rugby Podcast. The Italian Rugby Podcast. The Italian Rugby Podcast.
Hello, buonasera. Let's see, we have some kind of issues, but benvenuti in un nuovo episodio. Welcome in a new episode of Fratelli di Rugby Podcast, the podcast who beat the Dragon of Wales.
We
were able to ride the Dragons. Mike, I'm really happy to see you. I'm really happy to see you because it's a back-to-back win against Wales.
Back-to-back win, and if I'm not mistaken, the first win at home against Wales in 14 years. So, 18 years. 2007, actually, I think, isn't it?
There were so many. I will check again, but it's been a long time in Rome. Yes, for sure. I'm sure somebody is going to let us know about that. So tonight we are only
18
on.
Years. There we go. Oof.
Tonight we are going to be only on YouTube because we're having at the moment some issues on Act. I don't know why, but let's figure it out. Mike, first of all, I was really happy to see a couple of friends of the podcast at the meeting outside of the Rugby Museum stand. Niels, sometimes FCK Noise, Niels, we know him, and Lucio, big Lucio from L'Aquila. So we had the opportunity to chat, to have a couple of beer, one for each. Good stuff. So, and come on. Last year we saw them we saw Lucio during a sunny day in Rome against England at the beginning of the Six Nations. Mike, as you see,
can't even blame me to bring the weather.
Was bad. We were checking the weather even the days before about how it will be. And also I was worried also for my Lazio team the day after. I thought maybe the field was too damp. It was perfect. We won 5-1. Italy won. Perfect weekend for me on this. Mike, from home, you were with friends watching the game.
I was.
How happy you were home? How happy the people around you?
No, I had my other half's family over, and just so I don't know, it was so cathartic, I think, because for us it was a must-win game, but it was obviously a must-win game very different to Wales and like their where they're at in their stage. For us it's almost a coming of age where we needed to try and prove that the step by step that we've shown over the past few years isn't just it wasn't just happenstance. It was something that we needed to be more consistent with. So I think there was a lot of love in the room for Italian rugby, which is always nice to see. And long may it continue. Otto. How about you? Obviously, you were there. The atmosphere, the noise,
the speaker. Italia.
How close were you to Quesada this time? Did you throw something at him or not?
No, but I took a picture of a friend of mine with Liam Williams. And I
right, nice.
Yes, fantastic player.
Liam
Williams. Shane Williams. Big Shane.
Okay. Shane massive upgrade. Oh, the disrespect.
sorry. With all those Williams, come on, cannot.
To be fair, you get a pass.
And beautiful. James Hook, who I saw around in the media area. He played for Gloucester. It was good, so good for us. So.
He was a great player. Mate, such an underrated fly half, James Hook.
You see, Mirko, big Lazio fan. Mirko, unfortunately, yes, I won. Somebody will be happy, but from the stadium, of course, the rain was hard for everybody. Was continuous. Was really from the video. Was there. Everybody think about, my God, it started like an hour and a half before the kickoff, and That never stopped because I'd been there at the media press post match conference, and then I left. It was still raining. I arrived home with the rain on the sea. So I was really like exhausted at the end of the game. I was exhausted like them. I was looking continuously at the timer because I was just hoping for the end, and I left the thinking about the bad. I was focusing on the bad stuff, like
The ball.
that attitude at the end. But then thinking now better because I feel like the game against Georgia, and we were together, so you know how
Yeah.
we're feeling about it. Kind of like that. But then you say, you know what, but the win is a win. We cannot be picky on this on a victory, on a back-to-back victory again. It's important to say, and was a kind of a boring game, if we say like Quesada and Lamaro said that, because when it's only kick and chase, kick, kick and chase, not a lot of ball in hands to explore the opposite team. Well, that is hard, but we move and. Fantastic.
Yeah, there's one thing from the post match. I know obviously you were there representing FDR. Nice. But with regards to the post match, there was one thing that sort of stuck out, and obviously I know you and I messaged at we messaged on the group chat where we were saying how was it that all of a sudden we knew about rain 2 or 3 days beforehand, and they said so. This is just for context for everyone. So Lamaro and Quesada mentioned that they hadn't planned for wet rain. They anticipated rain, but they didn't prepare for rain because it was meant to be dry. And then the day of, obviously, it became torrential, and they were like, "Well, we just have to play the conditions." So they said that they prepared all week for a game they couldn't play, which is interesting. It also means that potentially we're going to see a slightly different Italy against France, which I think we need to be, because we're not going to be able to do what we did against Wales against France. So if any of you guys feel a little bit, happy for the win, but felt like we left some stuff out there, I take some comfort out of that with regards to we won, big W next to our names, like we celebrate these victories, boys played out of their skins, but there's definitely more to come, and that's something that I think for everyone who's watching, everyone who's listening, there is more to come, and obviously this is just a good step forward, and that's I think the way that most of the people who are watching the game sort of see it. And Otto, I mean, what are your thoughts, Otto? Like, is it something where good step forward?
We continue delivering good set piece. We scored from a set piece.
Yeah.
We were more. Still, we used the scoreboard pressure to win the game.
Yeah.
Because they scored 2 tries. We scored 1 try at the end. So the scoreboard pressure was spot on. We tried to play in their territory and not a lot of possession at the end, if you think, but to play there in their own 50s, kicking, putting under pressure the fullback. I was expecting Liam Williams maybe to start, so with Liam Williams would have been a little bit slightly different the quality of the catches, and in general maybe also in attack you can give something more, but still.
You say that, I thought he was brilliant at fullback though. You're talking about that little pocket rocket.
Yeah, no, he played well, but still, Liam Williams also in attack can give you more, and about like mentality, man. If you only think about how many games, so you can bring that confidence in a team that is struggling. Then Thomas didn't had a great game. If I think about him, the scrum, our scrum was good. Lineout was good. Yes, we left 1 penalty with Rizzoli minute 67 in. And from that situation, they come to the 5 meters, and then they start pushing with the maul. But in general, Mike, we play some a boring rugby, as it's been said by both of them, and in a certain way it is, because you see that kind of, we can say, South African, maybe sometimes few couple of years ago was really heavy on that kick, and it is what it is, Mike. Because at the end, they were committing a lot of errors in the breakdown, penalties in an area of the field where last week we kicked everything, so it was something predictable from us, and they give us those opportunities. Let's go on. Sadly, for the crossbar by hit by Pagelo, that is our other true love, our other pan, the long kicks with them, and that is great, I think. But what does you say? Like, that the point is, maybe we should have tried to play more in those 10 minutes when we were playing with a man more than then
Yeah,
for the. Maybe
you know
that
what?
is the thing.
I think for me, right, we played a nice sort of weather appropriate game. But you're right. I think, if there's a takeaway that we can have is after we were 16 points up, I think we probably, as much as I kept saying every time we got the three, I kept saying, take the three, because again, get it to 22, play however you want, play aggressive, play whatever. So I was thinking, had we gotten those two kicks over, we were going to play, and we were. But also, part of me was thinking, and again, this is just the part of me who's trying to be like very positive about this game. We showed nothing, as in like we showed very little. We didn't show up. We haven't overshown our hand. So when someone comes to review this game against us, they're going to be looking at the maul at the end. That's what they're going to look at, our maul defense, which unfortunately something went wrong there, right? Whatever it was, the coaches need to sort that out. But I don't think they're going to get too much about how we attack. Maybe how we defend. They might see, we were narrow a couple of occasions. We had a winger out of position, but we have hidden quite a lot, and we won. Let's be honest, we dominated that game for 65, 70 minutes, and then there was 10 minutes of madness at the end. Typical Italian way, right? But let's be honest.
No, it's true. The good thing that is between that penalty from Rizzo in the scrum, and then they start, we manage really good how long we defend, even with penalties, but we were comfortable with the result. They could have only draw us, but then the beauty to end up with the defense 13 versus 15 in the last 2 minutes of the game, overtime, and Zuliani that give you like a sweet treat at the end after the bitterness of those and the scary to take the medicine, the losing medicine there. We did something and we didn't show. That's the point. We didn't show a lot of our attack. In defense, I think we show some issues.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. 100% agree.
In the first half, they got two really in a dry pitch. Those two were two tries by Josh Adams.
But that's the point of playing the conditions better, right? And
also
again,
a little bit unlucky to catch, because how many times we saw Josh Adams taking that ball over the line. But anyway, everything's good for us. The Wales are crying now for the row of bad results that we know really well, and then we're gonna go through, because I read the chat already, really not like Lamaro. Then we're gonna go through that.
Yeah, but for me, I think for me, yeah, I listen, and again, commiserations to Wales, but also how many times have we been in that position, and no one gave us any excuses, right? So how many times were we held up over the try line against Georgia? How many times we were held up 3 times over the try line? We got knocked into touch twice in the 5-yard meters. Like, it doesn't really matter. It like, say what you want. We defended well. There was one time they tried to peel off at the front of the scrum right at the start, and I think it was Nicotera and Lamaro smashed them out the side. Like, say what you want, we defended well, right? We were in the position where, scrambling back, we put pressure under Adams, and maybe if there was no one there, he probably would have walked over. But I think say what you want, maybe unlucky, maybe good defense. And actually, for once, I think we can probably pat ourselves on the back and say, I don't think we didn't do enough. Do you know what I mean? We did everything to influence that, which is interesting.
We did what we were called to do, but if we think in the next games what Wales did, that's something that can happen again, because Thomas Williams, sure. Dupont, they kick behind in that corner.
Yeah, they do. Yeah,
they kick in after catching an high ball, with something that Thomas Ramos can do, and from there they can move again. So we show a little bit of something that is not. Sorry, but my cats are fighting. Come on, stop.
The joys of life. All good. No, but yeah. So Otto, if you need to go sort them out, I can quickly sort of give my points, because I can see some really good comments in the chat.
Which I'm going to go want through. To highlight some of them,
Yeah. So gents, I think obviously what we're going to do is let's start off with up here, right? I think Adam, I'm just going to highlight one of yours. So this is sort of something that we have had that spot for a long period of time, and actually it's Wales now, but for 18 of the 20 odd times that we've come last in the Six Nations, it would have been Scotland. And like you said, someone has to come last, and actually we've done our bit. we've done our bit, and I think actually it's time for us to just take the good, because it's not going to be good forever. And now is a good time. We've got a good crop of players. We're coming into a bit of a gold generation with 7-8+ years of under-20s which are performing. And shout out to the under-20s. They're really unfortunate to lose against Wales on Friday as well, with again a try knocked on over the line, right? And again, Otto, we can play a lot of parallels there. A try put, and then a kick.
Absolutely.
A kick, a missed kick, right, to win it at the end. A pretty simple kick. So we've got some quality players coming through. We've had it for a sustained period, and I think now is our time to sort of embrace where we're at, enjoy where we're at, and hopefully kick on. And that's sort of my viewpoint from where we are.
It's nice. This Samuele yesterday was on my in Italian review, and today is here. Relax Mondays. Yes, we are freak of rugby. We are FDR, freaks of rugby. We can call him that way. Now Adam tell me why. Okay, every game need a solution. We found some solution, some way. Actually, if I think about the under-20s, one of the best players in the pitch commit that mistake again, because Faisal is really a quality player. He knows how to play on the high balls, and he's a speedster. He can run. It's really interesting to see him.
On the under-20s, Otto. Like, I think we've spoken about him a lot. You obviously highlighted them when they were when we first saw them, like 7-8 years ago. But there's some really talented backs, and obviously there's some really talented
backs looks better. And with some other Italians, we were chatting about Gianfi, the number 5. We think why is playing there if he played back row? Maybe it's to help more in the push of the scrum on that side as a 5. Maybe that
like
is another. And the big lunch booty, right? Thinking about.
There we go. Otto knows the way that I talk. Yeah, man, we need a really strong, tight head lock, and imagine
that's probably the guy. That's
148 kilos. 5. 148 kilos, 6'5". Just get him to bend over and push. We've got another prop pushing behind a prop. Perfect. We're good, Otto.
We're talking about Gianfri, the number 8 at Bath. He won a scholarship 2 years at Bath. So that is the idea. But we have a good French players too. He can be even better. He can be really a cracking player. But if you think about this team, we didn't see Ragusi playing still, which is one of the quality players we have. We are adapting. We almost gonna find some solution because it happened to the first team, but Santa Maria is trying to, because he came in last year, so he has to develop his way to deliver what he wants to the idea. But for now, pretty interesting. Like idea.
Yeah, man.
But
Obviously,
results, you can see there is something more than only pick and go. If we think about
I agree. I think again, the reason with obviously we'll come back into the meat of the game, but I do think it's important because it's to the point, right, where we're looking behind because we've had such fantastic on under 20s, and we're looking currently, and we can see those under 20s that were promoted, and frankly, like Franco Smith, for example, with Garbisi, Trulla, Mori, I can't remember who else he brought in, Varney. These players suffered, and now obviously we're starting to bear fruits from them. So let's see what these under 20s can do as well in a few years, man. I'm so excited. Future's very bright for Italian rugby, very very bright.
And to go back to the national team, a lot of those players that we saw in the 2020 playing under 20, they are here now, and they already collect a lot of victory in the Six Nations. If we think about I did the list of the players that won the most with Italy in the Six Nations. We have, of course, Canale Parisi Bergamasco, but they reached 9-8 victories. But we have a lot of players that already won 4 games, Mike, and they're still young, and that helps a lot to say. And as Lamaro said, talking about Wales too, their cycle. Sometimes you start from zero, sometimes not. You have to work your way through, and you don't have to go back. Like, feel sorry for them. I mean, it happens to us. Nobody was helping. Ward Barton in the 2022 was trying to push us out.
Yeah, Warburton. Like, I think that's one of the ones which hurt the most, right? Because
It was always brought as the thing against us. What he said at the time, and in the press conference, you English Welsh media that starting questioning about feeling for Wales, and then Georgia, I don't think is appropriate in that way. It's not respectful, and was bad.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. Like, and it was ridiculous when it was us. It's ridiculous against another opponent. Like, we need to respect our opponents. And some of the Welsh media just saying, "Oh, do you think Wales shouldn't be in the Six Nations?" Like, how disrespectful! Like, do you want to kick the players more, your own players? And we had to eat that shit constantly. Like, why would you ask the opposing coach that question? It's ridiculous. What, because you want to sell a couple more clicks on your articles? And I guarantee we all know, without saying names, who that reporter and where they're from, because they're very active on Twitter. It's always the same people. We don't need to say, right?
Oh, it was pretty silent this weekend, right?
Anyway, it's their problem to solve, but respect your players.
On the if you go on the press conference, actually, I can post it at least for you guys in the chat. Hopefully, it's gonna came out. Yes, this is the other big news about Tamak. But if you go on this, then is the Federazione Italiana Rugby channel, and listen to the last 27 minutes. There are a couple of hear everything, and great words and thoughts by Lamar. I think it's really, he was stava ragionando himself about it was a reflection about the point where we are now, looking behind 4 years ago, because he said, since I came as a captain in the first, which is crazy if you think about it. Like, they asked me the same thing about where
Promotion relegation 50
yes,
times in his first media thing is what he said.
the first media thing is crazy, and
That's
still
mental.
there. But
Eduardo.
what is Eduardo?
He said maybe DuPont has the flu in 2 weeks' time. Yeah, maybe he goes out for what was it they went out for when they got the the flu
I
in
don't know,
Rome?
man. Something we need something, okay?
Yeah.
But we can
cappuccino.
learn from England. We can learn from England this week.
Yes.
A game to watch because it was so cool. That really interesting game, and also the try from the young prop. Love it when this stuff happens every time, right?
Yeah.
Mike, we are a team that loves to score with the backs. I don't remember in the last couple of Six Nations almost tries from maybe one Cannone. We never score with our props with you there. Neither
No,
the
we don't.
throwers.
We don't. Yeah, we don't even
Close
really
to that.
score with our hooker much either. Like we don't. We like
A
to
lot
score with our
more.
back.
Back in
Yeah.
the days, yes, more.
Last back. I wonder if it was Poledri against England. I wonder.
No, I think that no, there should be. There should
Vincent.
be
No.
maybe a
No.
Vincent, maybe a Cannone. We need to see
Maybe.
more for this kind of stuff.
Yeah. Now we're speculating, but like, if guys in the chat, do you remember? I 100% Pelledri scored against England because that was a disgusting try that he scored. I know that was 2001. I want to say, but yeah, I can't remember last time Italian forward scored.
It's been
Oh, I know
anyway,
Vitroni against England last year, year before last in at
2
Twickenham.
years ago.
At
Okay.
Twickenham. Yeah, it has to be. Yeah.
2001, Josh, and we also go Phantom with his jokes. Maybe time to change Andrea Moretti. Why, though? Why? I mean, he's
I
not
like him.
connected to. He's not direct to the scrum as a set piece. He's a scrum specialist. Fernandez is the rack specialist. Skills is crazy guy. Philip Dussy, all skills, all games, crazy stuff. Really entertaining to watch on Instagram. Him and Simon Luca Pistore, when they post the stuff, they work for the skills of the players. And hopefully we're gonna see more of those skills in the last games. Let's talk about Capozzo try. Go deep into the players too, because we didn't mention any player until now. How you rate the game played by Garbisi? Because
Garbisi?
there.
Yeah. His game management was great. And I think actually it's one of those where like inherently I felt like we were slightly worse off when he had to go for the HIA, but that's probably because we weren't preparing for it, right? But he was great. He was so good.
We didn't look so quick in adapting to the new players in the field in that moment, right? Losing Garbisi.
Yeah. And I think as well with Garbisi, he's one of those players where he definitely has such a natural instinct of a feel of a game, right? You know, some players take a little while to maybe warm up to the game, but he immediately, like a lot of what we did right at the start and putting pressure under Wales came because he managed to adapt to the game. The kicking was great. Positionally, I thought he found himself in the right spots when they were kicking. So as much as people were saying, you know, Wales were kicking poorly, I actually think positionally our backs were very good this game. They adapted really, really well, which is again something that you and I speak about a lot about. You know, how do we be better aerially? Maybe it's because we're finding ourselves out of position and stuff. I felt we mitigated that a lot as well. And like I said, a lot of it that's good came from Garbisi's work, in my opinion.
A game where we kicked 50 times, Mike, the highest number since 2020.
I
never
mean,
kicked
the
so
weather
much.
dictated.
We kicked in 2 games 44 times. That was Capozzo Padovani try. And against Scotland the week before in 2023. No, 2022. My God. All of 2023. So it's been a long time since that. We kicked once. We carry. Let me tell you in a different way. The ratio between carrying and kicks in play was 1.5, 1.48. So we kicked once every 1 carry and a half.
That's mental.
Yeah,
That's mental.
like,
We didn't want the ball.
No.
Why would we?
But the try was amazing, Mike, because Garbisi sells so well the dummy that he is not only stopping in that way the reaction of Josh Hathaway that leaves completely aped, looking at the sidelines sadly for the Gloucester man, but better for us. And then Thomas behind too. They hurry to go close on Capozzo, and he's so good kicking the ball then with
So
the
good.
correct. So
And it's his
so
left
smooth.
foot as well, because he turns both of them, doesn't he? So that's the beauty of it as well, because he sells the dummy and then he has to turn back round. So he's already off. Like both of them are converging into Garbisi. They both bite, and he manages to slip the ball. They both bit. He creates the space, not from the dummy, but from the kick, which is really
That is fantastic.
Let's be honest.
Nobody
Like,
can go there.
yeah, man, it was a thing of beauty, and also like the we demolished them in the scrum. That and that obviously set the platform because they were going backwards. They weren't able to peel out. Like everything was the decision making there was perfect. We knew that we had the shunt on. They weren't going to be able just to pull out because that would have been a penalty. They had to go backwards. We then took the opportunity to attack. Everything there was what a true top 10, maybe even like higher team would do in that situation. And it's nice that it worked for us, because there's so many times where it doesn't. It's nice that we got that to work. So yeah, man, I'm buzzing. That's such a lovely try.
And talk about the backs, one of the probably underrated, not underrated, but like the guy that for me shined the most in the dark, in the shadow, because you didn't see him with the lights as usual, with the balls like usual, which is Ioane. For me, Ioane did really good game, catching, also even only carrying, chasing the ball every time. For me, it was fantastic the way he played. Then, of course, we had Braxton Menoncello. They just defend a lot. In this game, we saw that tackle by Menoncello on Tompkins. Fantastic. Beautiful that.
He sent him to a new abyss, I think.
Send it to Tribuna Tevere in that case. To Ponte Milvio. To Ponte Milvio, just behind there.
Yeah.
But
we're gonna go into players now, like
yes.
individual players.
No, front row. Thoughts about the front rowers. Fischetti.
Brilliant.
Fischetti.
Yeah, brilliant. We know what we get from Fischetti. We know what he does at the breakdown. Man, he was on form as well. And again, I think he was right. He was on the best level, right? He didn't shout the ref too much. Carling is definitely the ref that you don't want to shout at as well, because he gets his tail up quickly. But man, yeah, he's a good player.
Then Nicotera said in the post-match, look, this game I only take. I've never seen the ball. Probably I didn't pass the ball once. I mean, I just work and tackle immense on that. When he covered on the blind side, that mini move they were trying to do, the whale, that was fantastic too, well read by him. And I really appreciate his work, because he's the mule for real. He's not only the guy, yes, but he's really the mule that you need. Not
His
that
workhorse.
Yeah. What do you think about the two guys that came from the bench in this case? So Rizzoli and Lucchesi, before moving on, Riccioni and Ferrari.
Yeah, I think I think they took a little while to get into the game, but then also when you're going, they brought their substitutions in 10 minutes before we did, or 15 minutes before we did. So
Yeah.
they had a feel for the game and what it was like, and potentially all of those things. More than, first of all, Rizzoli, who's inexperienced, right? Like, it's not like something he's probably experienced at that level, test rugby, right? And then Lucchesi, maybe just took a couple seconds more than they're used to get used to it. And actually, I think maybe that's a lesson learned for us when, to give Gats his credit at that point, maybe when it's like that and it's a torrid condition and wind swirling, rain pouring, maybe it is better to give your props a little bit more time to adapt ahead of the other props. So maybe there's a lesson there for us. But I think I don't want to I don't want to be negative with it, because I've never been in that position, but I can imagine it being a lot harder.
He got also almost knocked out before that scrum. So he was on the sideline with the guy. They were playing, and he was with eyes on his head. So maybe let's try to find also that as why he suffered in that specific scrum. Lucchesi a little bit slower, but it was only to defend. There was not a lot of time to show yourself in attack. Yes.
For sure.
And Ferrari, another great game in the front row with the helmet, ready for war.
He's juggernaut.
And Riccioni took this yellow card. Was needed. Let's say that is the best thing to say, because was needed. Slow the ball.
Yeah, I don't get. I know we're going to come into it, but I don't quite sort of understand, because we were trying to sack, so we got our timings wrong on the sack 3 times in a row. I don't get it.
No,
but anyway, we'll talk about that, I suppose.
No,
you probably have some sort of.
That was weird. I want to see it from the other angle to see a little bit more, because to understand why we're pushing that way, why we're not able to connect. And I thought they were pretty low.
Well, obviously, I know you were in the. Did you watch it back from
Yes.
the? Yeah. So definitely Riccioni and the Lamb, right? Yellow cards, and obviously the subsequent penalty try. They are trying to sack that more, but they like.
But the
whatever
first
reason,
time fell on the ground for
the first time, but the second and the third, the second and the third time, because there was a reset in between, right? They're trying to sack that. In my eyes, anyway. At least that's what I think they were trying to do. I wouldn't understand. I don't understand otherwise. How it sort of came down the way it came down. But anyway, it's interesting. Ferrari with a helmet on. He's a different beast, isn't he?
It's Bulbasaur ready to fight.
He's an animal, mate. He's
an
animal. Juggernaut from X-Men with his helmet. Yeah.
Then Nicolo Cannone in the team of the week for a lot of things was like, okay, let's go cut some trees, like that kind of game. Let's go in the cave. He did well. Ruzza organizing, of course, really well the line out, but then his game, we didn't see him playing on skills. Let's be honest, nobody had to works on the skills like, oh, you see how good I am being flashy and everything. No, pane al pane, vino al vino, Mike. Really, let's go for the fight. Face off was like a sambo, jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Not MMA. I mean, was contact, defend, run, and start back. There was,
mate. It's just it was brilliant, wasn't it? And again, I think, like you said, those two were a lot of what was good defensively. But back row as well, man. Like Seb murdered a man. Like, my friends were sending me memes like Seb killed a man.
Another way was great.
It is so good, and it was timed perfectly. And then obviously Cannone, like possibly the best performance, and again, not just because I'm Italian, but I think genuinely probably like player of the week, right, for a lot of pundits. He
If you
was
think about
just
how many meters he ran with the ball,
yeah,
I know that sometimes number 8, even Faletau, they had a lot of carries from restart kick, but still, then it worked in the field. So you had other opportunities too to show yourself, and those are meters. Those are strong statement too, because of course I love Vincent, but Cannoni delivered the game to say, okay, I'm ready to stay here as a number 8.
yeah, 100% agree. And I think it's one of those where, like, now, especially now, we're in a position where we're able to to really sort of pick our back rows, because everyone, and I think we mentioned it on our last call, maybe on the preview. So if you guys haven't caught it, there's definitely worth, for continuity, worth having a listen to the preview. But we have the option now to pick horses for courses. So each one of our back row has their own USP. We know Seb's the workhorse. We know that he's going to run hard. We know that he's quite happy to give us front football. We know that Izekor has that athleticism, and he often often finds himself on the wing and manages to nab an important try. We know that Canon is just this explosive ball, as is Vincent, in a very different way. And then you look at Lamaro, and he's just this defensive unit, and he organizes so much of what's good in attack and defense. And then we've got Zuliani, who comes in, and we know what he's going to bring. We know what his
He was
point of difference
waiting
is.
for that ball, Mike.
He
You were
loved
just
it.
there
He
moving
loved
around.
it. Yeah.
Because he's so smart that he doesn't want to take on the players in those situations. He wants to be the first guard, because usually they don't go attacking on the guard. They go on the second player with the pod. So he's always able to put his hands from the inside, as he did in the last in the turnover, in the key turnover, to win the game and to say, stop, basta acqua, basta pioggia, let's go drink beer. So,
I genuinely, thinking about it, I genuinely think we have one of the better back rows in like world rugby. I genuinely do believe that as well. Like, say what you want about whatever, our back rows have been very strong for a long period, right? And I think actually now we're starting to see more and more what's the word I'm looking for? More and more competition. And you look at the under-20s as well. Is it Castellini? Is that his name? Have I got that wrong?
Casartelli, the general.
He is
Yes.
unreal, right? And then we have like, we look at like the players that don't even make the training squad. You look and you're like, Jesus, we're making some decent players now.
We were talking at the Olimpico with Lucio about Casartelli, how he's electric. Those mini moves, speed, quick movements that he can do. That it's something we don't have.
Also, he runs like a. I'll always call it out. He runs like a rugby league loose forward. Like, he just runs at B defender. Like most people run a line, he'll just run and then cut diagonally, and he just manages to make yards. He's a real talent, man. Like, he's a good player.
The general, and let's talk about Gloucester. Yeah, Nelson is his name. How you gonna call him? The general.
You mean Admiral?
Admiral.
Yeah.
Tell me the Admiral.
It sounds either way. It sounds cool, man. I'm all in. But yeah, we've got like.
I'm gonna prepare some Photoshop stuff with his face.
Mate, look at the comment Josh just put in. Actually, that's a really good one to highlight. And like, Odiasi, Ferrari, Ortombina, Locatelli, Stavile, or Stabile. I don't actually know how to pronounce that because it's Argentinian, right? But anyway,
he's Italian, Mike.
He's Italian when he's wearing blue
on a passport.
Nacho,
yeah.
he's my guy.
We need those hard ball carrier too. Out of the blue, in April, finally we're gonna see playing Venditti after he torn his ACL in the Shoot Shield in Australia. Because in April,
where's he playing?
In the Wildfires a team in the Shoot Shield in Australia. He went to Australia last year. He completely skipped the season for injury. See this year if he's gonna play. Look at
Jesus, he's a big man.
about
He's a
ball
big man.
carriers, right? Players like Venditti, mamma mia, un colpo al
So
cuore.
let's see what Enoch does. If he like Enoch, right, 148 kilos, he probably has. Enoch probably has what? He's if he gets himself in really good nick, right? And I'm thinking personally, I'm trying to pull a parallel between whether he stays at second row, if he goes at fullback. There's Alfie Barbary, who obviously was an absolute monster at under 20s, probably similar sort of weight, to be honest, and they made him lean up, and ironically at Bath as well, playing really, really well. Let's see what you can do as well, mate. Like we've got options now. We've got options. Options are back growing.
You have to play, but then we have option. Mike, not a lot under the lens, but a lot of work. Brexham Menoncello in this game. I mean, good tackle, good combination as usual. Not much more to say in a game that wasn't made for them to, in a certain way, to shine.
No, they shut down the attack well. Obviously, Wales moved the ball around a lot. They kept busy. They made really good decisions. Not really too much else to say. They didn't do too much wrong,
Ioane already spoke about.
He was good in the air.
In that, yeah. And then Capozzo Allan, let's put them together, because that was the question, right? Is it okay, not okay to keep pushing? We were talking about like is a signal for his team because he trusts his team in this game. So Capozzo still on the wing scored the try. Allan,
brilliant.
At the end, brilliant. I know the mistakes, kicking mistakes, but still, it was a good game.
Yeah.
I love the way in the Olympico you can see how really well they were working, covering the back. That was really nice. But your thoughts about Menoncello Allan?
Yeah, mate. I think Allan, to be honest with you, bounced back, did what needed to be done. Unfortunate with some of the kicks. There was one which probably I want to say he had a couple of really hard kicks. One of them you sort of like were like, okay, maybe you should have got that, but fair play to the boy. I thought he was brilliant. Capozzo, Capozzo does what Capozzo does. Thought he really held his own physically as well. And actually, one play that we haven't spoken about, which I think had possibly his best game for Italy, was Martin Page-Rillo. Thought he was brilliant, man. I thought he was brilliant. Again, we complimented Garbisi. I think he did his part that game as well with the kicks.
The fastest, smartest kicks were amazing in the team. Like the smartest in the way, quick thinker, because he's used to that way to think, that Toulousain style, that French skills from when he's young. You can see that in the French, in the back more than everything. They are quick. They know what they want to do, and yes, really good game. Another player was on the bench that saved us against the try. There was Jacopo Trulla. Man, he stopped that try. Good for him. Was a cameo in the game for him.
Yeah, mate. Again, let's be honest. Like, there's probably a bit of a headache for a selection next game. Obviously, again, horses for courses. French are going to have the bit between the teeth, right? That's one thing we need to be aware of. The French will have the bit between the teeth. They'll want blood next game, and once again, we're the ones that come up in front of them. Look at the World Cup. Once again, we were ones that came out in front of them. So, like, it's one of those now.
Man, and if we have to play against Moefana and Barassi in the centers, I hope it's not going to rain, because I want a lot of running from our players.
Yeah.
That is something, but let's see what happened this weekend with the UFC and top 14 injuries, niggle and stuff. Everything can happen. So let's see with that, because we saw opportunity leaving.
Let's call a duck, right? I thought the French were poor against England.
No,
I'm happy to say it,
England
right?
was really good. England was
Yeah.
really good.
England
It's
were
good.
very good.
Yes.
But I also think the French were poor. Like the French on a different day win that game by like 25, 30. But again, and we're talking about on another day, it wasn't that day. England defended really, really well, put them under pressure, dirtied their ball, had niggle, which I think was important in that game. But how many hands? When have we ever seen Dupont do that against a clear run in from the pass from BLBA back inside, back outside as he runs inside. I don't ever remember him dropping a ball that goes to hands, let alone just for a complete run in on the try. Like there was some silly little mistakes from France, and like I said, in a different game, like they would have like had a much different result. But also there's a lot of opportunity, and I think actually England drew a bit of a blueprint on how do you get change out of France, and I think actually now that's something that we need to study that ahead of the next 2 weeks, because I think there's a lot more that we can learn about England, France than France can learn about Italy, Wales. Does that make sense?
No. It completely, totally sense. Between this Eduardo Caccolo Phantom, Eduardo said, I would be happy if we play a 2023-esque game. So attacking, playing, and then only Jalibert changing the momentum of that game. And the Phantom saying, come on, what happened last year in France? So between these two games, if we think about how much we concede, but we were really good in defense, I take the defense of last year, but the attack of 2 years ago. Like, I don't care. Like the last Crowley style, let's play. Because that can be really surprising for France. Hopefully, Quesada is going to show us these new tricks in the bag that has for us. And see, and Fernandez, all the stuff, because he's talking about this. He was talking about that this for the last 3 months. We have something, we didn't show it. We want to show it. We're gonna arrive and show this what we can do in attack. We want to play. We want to play. We want to play. Boring rugby, kicking, but we want to see a little bit of that. And maybe with France is something that we can see, I guess.
For sure. I'm 100% with you. I think it's like one of those where it's a really good opportunity now because words have been spoken and things have been done on the pitch. Right now is a good opportunity for us to say to make those words into action. So we said we wanted to attack, like you said. I'm so excited, Otto. And listen, I don't know what this new attack will include. I don't think you can diverge too much from, the Crowley-esque attack, because I think that's our identity. But I'm interested to see sort of what's new, because that's something where I think a lot of fans, neutrals, have question marks on. Obviously, we hear it all the time in the chat with some of the boys as well. Now is an opportunity for us to see what is new. Obviously, we've had this attack that we've been developing in the autumn. We've got a new defensive system that we've been developing since the autumn, which is starting to pay dividends. Let's see what we can do in attack now, because now is our time, mate.
Lamaro was talking about like how they are slow reorganizing, refolding. He said something like that during the media press this week, because somebody asked about France already. I have to go to listen again.
Yeah.
But
So he's talking about the size. He was like, obviously,
yes.
we've spoken about it before as well, where
we don't
obviously
have that size, but they are so strong in attack because they have the size, but they are not that quick reorganizing.
Yeah. So we need quick ball. So he said it's dependent on whether we get quick ball or not, and
repositioning, reposizionarsi, folding all around that.
Yeah.
So probably there we're gonna play something different. Probably we're gonna try to play a game where we're gonna move a little bit our nine. Our nine probably is gonna run a little bit more, giving opportunity around. That can
The
be
ruck,
something.
Yeah. You know what I'd be really interested to see? Sorry, I'll go ahead, mate.
No, go on.
I was going to say I'd be interested to see like an offloading game. What are your thoughts on that? Like against the big forwards, just
Love it. If we last week, one of the best attacking situation platform we had was that attack with the Rizzoli that gave the first offload when he gain the line. And from there, we start moving the ball really quickly. And we gain 25, 30 meters. Quesada said, we need to attack in that way because we were behind in the score, in the result was there. So we have to do something different in the first game respect to this. But offloading game, I would like to, because talking about Ducey and all this quick hands they use, I want to see more of that, and I would like to see, because that is a way you can go through a defense. They're gonna tied up, soaked in by the rack, by the line break. Then probably we can try to use also our kicking game again better than how we use it for that kicking pass for Capozzo when they were one down this week. That was a really bad kick, probably the only really bad kick of the weekend for Alan. Speed and power is the best. Speed and
that's what I
power
was laughing at.
is
Speed times power, mass
Yes.
times acceleration.
Pirelli, la potenza è nulla senza il controllo. I wish that means that we should win more games. Who knows?
Science.
Contact and rack speed is going to be key. A couple of thoughts, Mike, to wrap up this lovely pod of the victory game. Tell me about your thoughts for this weekend. How many of our Italians will play for URC, top 14, etc., etc.? We know Dino got injured and trauma contusivo, but he's going back to the Queens to see what they have to do, what's the situation with his shoulder.
Who do you think comes in for him if he is injured?
Favretto Canali, but he's going to be called up Canali.
Okay.
And Favretto goes in as an option.
Yeah. So I'm hoping we don't see any of the I'm hoping we don't see any of the Benetton boys back to play. None. Marin maybe actually, because he didn't play, right? Marin could do with some game time under his belt.
Okay. So if you have to give me your quick team for Benetton this week, Spagnoli is not there, so Gallo, Bernasconi, Grevi.
Yeah.
Everyone.
They pick themselves, don't they? Pasquale's back as well, isn't it?
Pasquale and Zilocchi, I guess, on the right.
Iman.
Iman there, then back Locks. Snyman, one of them. Marini again.
No, right? So
probably will play a little bit of game time to be ready. I guess Ulster maybe is one.
Makes sense to play him. To be honest, it does make sense to play him. I assume, knocking on wood.
Like the players that didn't play in the last 2 weeks, they need to have at least 40 minutes in.
Agree.
Okay, so Idzekor will play this weekend.
Yeah.
Alafi will play this weekend. Who's gonna play the other? It's gonna be Kinji is gonna play. Koloyadi. Who am I missing in the back rowers, guys?
Unless we see Favretto in the back row. But then Idzekor is a 6, isn't he? I don't know, actually. This is going to be a tough one.
Uren, Umaga, Marin, centers, Pegitoa, and Zanon, I guess.
Yeah.
Mendy, Ratave, Rhino Smith, and you have the team.
Ratave is back. Ratave isn't back, is he? Was he back?
He is not back. What's the situation there?
Line is injured. Adogwu was injured. Who else could they have there? Maybe one of the
Also,
under 20. Maybe no.
Gallagher needs to play too.
Yes, good shout. Good shout with Gallagher. Yeah, yeah,
Gallagher
yeah.
knows me, and the team is good. You have to see how fit can be the forwards.
I hope
mean,
I hope the top 14 don't pull our boys back. Although I see Garbisi going, I see Lucchesi going, I see all of them going. To be honest, I think top 14.
the only man the only Italian that we want to see playing this week, I think, is Mori in France, because he needs to put game time on. Probably is the only one. Talking about Zebre, we still don't know how long it's going to be the injury for Jesse. I think probably Rizzoli gonna go on the bench, I guess, because also Nocera is out, but he's gonna start from the bench. I think Rizzoli and Nasa is gonna start on the left side on the scrum, and then Canali needs to play, because I mean, if you don't take off Canali, how many do you have? Nazove, Krumov,
Di Bartolomeo, that's a good shout as well.
Di Bartolomeo needs to play.
Yeah.
Trulla, yes, can play more. This game is needed to play. Probably we're gonna see Gregory, Trulla, Paea, and I guess Morisi in the centers again.
Shall we also quickly just update with Zebre now that we know what's happening? Because I don't think it's been very well.
Yes. Let's just do a quick recap of that, because then we're gonna speculate more in a little bit. That's the question. Is it Drago back? Let's see. Let's wait a couple of days. But what happened, Mike?
So
you wanna say that?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot probably happened. But so with those who are interested in what's changed with Zebre, and who have been following it and have been interested in, we have actually heard back from our federation with regards to what the plan is moving forward, and the plan is to keep Zebre with a reduced funding and make sure that they are a development team. Take what you want from development team. Is that a development team from Benetton? Is that a development team for the for the top 14, development team for the Premiership? We don't know. But what we do know is that Zebre, although they had an offer which was going to supplement them for 10 million over 3 years from some local businessmen, the federation turned that down because it wasn't at the criteria of the 6 million a year over the course of 5 years like they asked. So it's going to be interesting to see what comes of it. Obviously, I think we're going to see a lot of players leave. From the top quality players, they're probably going to go abroad, and I think maybe that's a model that we're going to want to adopt, and have maybe some links with some Pro D2 teams, with some top 14 teams, with some Premiership teams, with Benetton, and maybe just make it so that our best players do find a spot abroad. They can make their money as well, which is important for the player career progression. Also make Zebre more attractive if teams see it as a stepping stone to the other leagues. I think that's the only way it works. Otto, what are your thoughts?
That is sad to see. It's really sad, the situation like that. It's really make me angry, actually. And we were saying that is the scenario. The scenario can be the fear is gonna say, you know what, I don't like this offer, and probably why? Because probably I want to force the situation in a different scenario, even to sell it back in a different way. And if you are able to sell it in a different way, which means maybe you buy the title, Zebre, you don't buy the team, that can be okay. Now I'm gonna decide how I want to do it. Now I'm gonna put the money on. Think about Banzato, no? An option can be that in a couple of years, in 1 year, 2 years, but on his conditions, not on this condition. Maybe they are being dictated in a certain way, like, okay, this is the standard we have to. But
can I be honest with you though, Otto? Like, let's be real for a second. It doesn't paint our federation in a good light, right? They put a 1 month deadline on a decision which will potentially influence Italian rugby for generations, right? Like,
Mike, it's not only that. If I would like to add, it's not only on the future of the federation; it's the future of players, staff, and people that works around Zebra.
yeah,
Mm.
Otto, for me, I think it's like it's just disappointing. Like it's not. It's just disappointing. Like Zebre deserve better. The players that have invested their time deserve better. Brunello's turning stuff around. How embarrassing is it going to be if Zebre do end up, top 12 this year? And then next year we're going to cut their funding. Like stuff like that's just a ridiculous concept to me. But anyway, maybe they deserve to be a fan-owned team. Maybe that's the step. Maybe we make it a fan-owned team, and people just put in money via contributions, and we do it like the German model, and we make it better and bigger than some of the other.
But if you have to do that, call the mafia at least. So we have
at least.
Let's put big
At
money.
least.
Let's bring DuPont to Macerata. Let's put it in Macerata in the middle of the night.
calling all mafias, calling all families across all mafias. If you want to clean your money, buy Zebre.
We are joking. We are joking. We are joking.
We're joking.
But please come.
But seriously, like if you're
there's a lot of plays, a lot of cement. We can make a new stadium and everything, but what's gonna happen? Maybe it's gonna be some of the players, the best players of Zebra, they're gonna go to Benetton. The best Benetton players, they're gonna move abroad, and that is gonna be a cycle. Which I don't know how good is it.
Yeah,
I don't think it's good.
No. But also,
one thing
I will say, if that is the case, Otto, and they are going to get rid of all of the foreign talent that we have at Zebre, as painful as that's going to be, it does provide us with an actual pathway from the under-20s, next steps, centrally contracted players, professional environment. Like, I get that. It would work, but it would have been better with funding, in my opinion.
You know what? I want to understand what's going to happen next season with who's going to be in charge of Zebra as a director, CEO, AD, I don't know how you want to call it. Like, who's going to be somebody from the federation, or is going to stay the same that is now? Is going to be happy to stay there with another project? Is going to say, okay, let's do it in that way. Who's going to do recruitment in which way?
I'll put my hat in. Go on, federation. I'll put my hat in. No, I'll take it. It's fine. I'll do it if you need me to. To be honest with you, mate, I think we know who was the best CEO. I think there's stuff that can and can't be said, but we know who has positively influenced Zebre the most in the short period of time that they were in charge. And we know that ultimately there was the best prospects, the highest revenue, the least amount of debt, most amount of money paid back came in 2 seasons when one person was in charge. And I think it's ridiculous that the previous administration messed that up as much as they did. So a lot of it isn't really the current federation's issues. It's the fact that they're playing clean up on someone who played fast and loose with our rugby movement, right? So anyway,
in a certain way, if they, if Zebra will play badly, you can say, you see, they play badly. They deserve to, but in the last years, you see how they develop and grow. So why you see something start to working? The results are there. They're not that. It's crazy to think they won those games this season, and Bennett is not performing that well.
No, I agree. Where does Brunello go from here, Otto? Like, what does he do at this point? Like, if it's going to be a development team,
so it's hard for a captain in the ship where you know the storm is coming. You cannot do anything.
Well, it's also like he moved He moved from the under-20s for this. Like, he moved for this opportunity. So, like, now they're going to cut all of his funding. He's not allowed to, like, what's he meant to do? Like, he's one of the best Italian coaches that we've like developed in a long time. So what's he going to do? Is it a development team for him? He's going to go elsewhere. He's going to go abroad, maybe to France. Like,
man, Italians don't go abroad. Italian coaches, they stay here. If you lived abroad, Bortolami maybe has some opportunity abroad, or maybe he should have taken some opportunity abroad years ago to keep developing more. Paris is out because of Masi. Masi is the guy that was already out. Leo is out, and no other four coaches in the clubs and Bergamasco that I know. But 4 young coaches are between Ireland and England coaching, which is great. I hope they don't have to come back now because they need to keep going, and then okay, I have my approach without any tarlo nella testa in other way. But De Carli was at Perpignan, Moretti, those players that have good connection abroad. That's why Bortolami should have been abroad before too for me. That was good perché siamo poveri.
Yeah.
Because also, guys, I mean, taxes and stuff in the sports, in rugby, still a limbo. Previdenza sociale con il rugby, it's really hard, guys. So, but we're gonna talk about that in another way. What I would like to say before we close, because I said last week that I was going to use this quote this week. So I'm going to look for the quote that I use against for the game because I think it's the best thing that I can do. So brave men didn't kill dragons, the brave men rode them. That was said by Viserys Targaryen, and I was still thinking about, yes, 20 more like phantoms exist, were fantastic phantoms, but
mate, we were talking about having that as the title for this week's pod, but I think a 7-point victory doesn't deserve that. If we'd won at had we won by like 30 points, we probably would have had that. It's a beautiful.
We felt the dragon breath on us for a few minutes at the end.
Yeah,
wasn't nice at all. We were almost roasted in that moment. Festuccia before the fear, where he is not doing rugby like coaching stuff. Festuccia at the moment. Ongaro because was at Sarris, and then he did something. He had good connection with Eddie Jones, the dear old friends. But so many things to know. I think the most important thing is to understand about Zebre situation. They have to play, okay, but then let's see renewal and the market for the foreign players. How it's going to change for the best players. Okay.
Yeah, I'm with you. So, Otto.
We did it 1 hour 15 because we love to speak about rugby. It's nice. We're going to have a new episode about the URC coming next week because it's time for URC. And then, of course, we're going to do the preview for the game against France, which is so interesting. Oh, here we go. Phantom spoke. And we're good. Now we can go. That picture. I have to put it one of our meme. But anyway, thanks everyone. Chat, subscribe, likes the video. We spoke a lot today. Baci a tutti. Bye Garcia. Bye Brisciantelli. Bye everyone. See you next week. And of course, this is the new watch also the outro because you can recognize a couple of new players. Before was Brex against Uruguay. There was Crowley, there was Capozzo against Wales, but there's another Capozzo against Wales. So, ciao a tutti, ciao Caccolo, Mirko, Mike, see you next week.
Ciao raga.
Ciao.
Fratello the Rugby Podcast. The Italian Rugby Podcast. Fratello the Rugby Podcast. The Italian Rugby Podcast. The Italian Rugby Podcast. The Italian Rugby Podcast.